What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about a new stimulus package that has just been proposed, and it looks like it's gaining a lot of traction. And yes, this includes stimulus checks. This is a good day for stimulus, and I have pretty much what is going to be in this proposal. I want to show you what that is, what's going to be left out, what will be included. I already told you stimulus checks, but this is good news. So feel free, hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy these videos. Also, feel free to share this video with your friends, families, and colleagues over on Facebook as well, so they too can stay updated on everything that's going on. So let's get into it. First off, this proposal is not Mitch McConnell's proposal. This is not his bill. This is not that $600 billion scaled down skinny bill that Mitch McConnell has been trying to propose, but nobody wanted to vote on it. This is a new $916 billion stimulus package that was presented by Stephen Mnuchin, Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, and President Trump himself. Yes, our four leaders, well, Stephen Mnuchin technically isn't a leader, but the other three are leaders. So right now, this is good news. Let's just read Stephen Mnuchin's statement that he made earlier on today. It says, Speaker Pelosi and I spoke today at 5 p.m. and on behalf of the President, I presented a $916 billion proposal, which is a slightly larger package than the bipartisan proposal of $908 billion. This proposal includes money for state and local governments and robust liability protections for businesses, schools, and universities. As part of this proposal, we will fund it using $140 billion in unused funds from the Paycheck Protection Program and $429 billion in Treasury funds. Chief Meadows and I reviewed the proposal with President Leader McConnell and Leader McCarthy. I look forward to achieving bipartisan agreement so we can provide this critical economic relief to American workers, family, and businesses. This is good news. This is good news. Seeing that they are actually putting out an effort is good news. This is really good news. Great news in my opinion. Now, obviously great news will be when the check actually arrives to your bank account. But right now, this is the most we've seen Republicans actually move, especially when it comes to Mitch McConnell. He's been very laid back, saying, no, I don't want that package. We can't support everything that's in it. There's some poison pills in that $918 billion package. But now he's saying, this is the package we need. What I told you earlier today and yesterday as well is Democrats and Republicans can't look weak at this time. And again, they're playing political games, but these games that they're playing could potentially lead to stimulus. So I'm okay with a little bit of gamemanship here and there as long as we see stimulus from all of this. So right now, this is good news. And I say this is good news because just a little while ago, earlier today, Mitch McConnell wanted to pretty much call it quits and say, okay, if we can't agree to liability protections and state and local government funding in this $908 billion stimulus package, then let's just forget those things and let's just pass what we know will pass. And so he was essentially just referring to, let's just pass my $600 billion stimulus proposal, which nobody wanted to do that. Nobody wanted to vote on that bill. Not Republicans and not Democrats. Nobody. Well, as you could imagine, when Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer heard Mitch McConnell say, well, let's just not do that. Let's just not do state and local government funding. Let's just not do liability protections, and let's pass everything else. Well, they shot this idea down immediately. Chuck Schumer said Mitch McConnell was trying to sabotage the entire negotiation process. His exact word, sabotage. Pull the rug out from underneath us as we're getting close. Well, that actually didn't happen. Even the Problem Solvers Caucus had something to say about Mitch McConnell's plan to take out key pieces of legislation from this package. So let's go ahead and read what they had to say. This was a statement from the co-chairs, Josh Gottheimer and Tom Reed. It says, now is not the time to walk away from the key pillars of our bipartisan, bicameral COVID-19 emergency relief agreement. It's time to double down on finding a solution to the remaining obstacles. We are simply too close, with families and small businesses hurting and our local communities running out of money as they fight the virus. We have to do what Americans hired us to do, find common sense solutions to get emergency relief out the door that include taking care of our state, local, and tribal governments, and recognizes the importance of worker and liability protections. We can do this, we must, and we will. What they just said right here, by including the statement that says the importance of worker and liability protections. This right here is a big statement, because it's not just liability protections for the businesses, the universities, and the hospitals. It's also worker protections and consumer protections. So it's not just the business that will be protected and they can't file lawsuits against them. These workers, okay, the workers and the consumers, the customers of these businesses, okay, they have to have some protections as well. So this is key. This is big right here. Right now, the key is to get this deal done as quickly as possible and as fast as possible, because right now, stimulus negotiations, the talks, the differences, the policy disputes, these things are popping up left and right. So we have to get this done as quickly as possible in order to see it pass before the end of this year. I say this because right now, we are on Tuesday. We got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we got all next week. So we have 8 working days left to get this deal done. Right now, it's going to be down to the wire to see this done. And possibly, we could see Congress have to stay into the weekend past the December 18th deadline. They might have to stay till December 19th, 20th, maybe into the first couple days of Christmas break, their Christmas week. They might have to do that to get this deal done, because right now it has to get done. We could also see them come back after Christmas. I just don't see that happening. This has to get done by the end of this year, and so the December 18th deadline is currently the date. So right now, we have even heard from Nancy Pelosi's leadership team stating today that this is a move in the right direction. And their representative, Hakeem Jeffrey, stated, I quote, "I think this plane is going to get landed." That's good news. That is really good news right now, because so far we have not heard a lot of good news. We have not heard a lot of optimism regarding a Republican package. So this right here is good news. So as of this afternoon, it is looking more and more likely that a deal gets done, and gets done within the next couple of weeks. I'm very optimistic we will see a deal done by December 18th. But in order to do this, this bill has to get written within the next couple of days, most likely tomorrow, because there's obviously things that take a little bit of time. Voting is going to take some time. So we will see if we can get this done. Right now, the text of the $908 billion proposal is currently being drawn up and drafted. So simply adjusting some of these modifications shouldn't take a whole lot of time, which should speed up the process a little bit. The only problem right now is that there is no unemployment boost like Democrats have wanted all along. Here's what we know right now is in the proposal. This is just based off of what we have heard from multiple media outlets and people with knowledge of the talks. And this is also from taking from some things from that $908 billion proposal. So here's what we know is currently in this $916 billion package. First, and foremost, $600 stimulus checks. This will be $600 for the filers and $600 for their spouse. It will also be $600 for dependents as well. Checks right now are considered they could go up. They could go up a little bit, because the way this money is being spent, this $916 billion, the funding for stimulus checks is actually coming from the unemployment boost, that $300 per week for 4 months. That's where this funding is coming from, according to one source. And that it would be cheaper to do stimulus checks than to provide $300 per week for everybody that's on unemployment. So right now we'll just have to see, but $1,200 stimulus checks are still a possibility. President Trump has said he's wanted $1,200 stimulus checks, and I'll get to that after this as well. But that's big news. $600 stimulus checks in exchange for the $300 a week on unemployment. However, the unemployment benefit would be extended. We would see a slight extension. As to how far, we don't know yet. It would most likely be, it could be 4 months, but again, that's just an extension. It's not an unemployment boost. There's also $160 billion for state and local governments, $288 billion for small business aid, $100 billion for education. This is different because Mitch McConnell proposed $105 and the 908 bipartisan package that proposed $82 billion. So right now, one source is saying it's $100 billion, but until we get the exact text, we'll just go with that. It's kind of in the middle. There's $16 billion for vaccines and distribution, $10 billion for childcare, $10 billion for broadband, $17 billion for airlines, a specific portion just for airlines, so kind of a bailout there. $28 billion for other transportation, $25 billion for renters assistance, which is huge. We need more than that, but that's a good start. $35 billion for hospitals, $26 billion for food assistance. Again, that's critical as well. $10 billion for the United States Postal Service, and also liability protections. As you can see, according to the report, $600 stimulus checks are replacing the federal unemployment boost. Democrats will have some pushback on this because they've said it all along, and I personally believe people on unemployment do not make enough to actually survive. So on a lengthy amount of time, the amount that they get should actually go up because it's making it harder and harder for them to find any work. And right now, I've stated this before, I'm going to continue to say it right now. We have anywhere between 4 to 5 unemployed Americans for every 1 job currently available. So right now, it's very difficult for those 5 people on unemployment to go and get that 1 job. According to reports, right now, this is a better proposal because it provides stimulus to more than just those that are on unemployment. This is good. And I mentioned this before. People on Social Security did not receive any stimulus from unemployment benefits. Nothing. So providing a stimulus check, it will be a blanket approach. It will cover a lot of people. It will provide a lot of people with stimulus, which will help prop up the economy and get many people somewhat back on their feet. $600, a one-time payment, is not going to be a huge deal to many, but to some, the hardest hit few, they will feel this directly, and that is good. And few reports are indicating that President Trump is only considering $600 because Republicans won't go higher. President Trump wants to go higher. He would love to do $2,000 stimulus checks, but he can't because he cannot get the support from the Senate Republicans and even some in the House. Even Senator Josh Hawley gave us some insight as to what President Trump is thinking. Josh Hawley said today, "I'd be surprised if he didn't support $1,200 for individuals and $2,400 for couples. My sense is that it's a very high priority, and he indicated as much to me on Saturday night when I spoke to him about it. He also reiterated again when I spoke to him today." So, like I said, this is good news. Stimulus checks are back in and are looking more and more likely that it will pass. Right now, again, I keep saying it's good news. I think this is extremely important because it's not just a proposal from Mitch McConnell. This is a proposal by President Trump, Mitch McConnell, and Kevin McCarthy. Yes, Steve Mnuchin made the proposal or proposed it to Nancy Pelosi earlier today, but this means the Senate is on board, the White House is on board, and the House, the House for Republicans is on board. So that's key. We need all 3 people on board. And now we just need Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. My anticipation is we will probably hear a statement from them, most likely tomorrow. They could use tonight as their negotiation period and try to get a little bit more out of this proposal. But right now, what we know is this is the best news we have seen regarding stimulus, because this tells us that Mitch McConnell is on board for a $900 billion package. Before and earlier today, it was stated that he was only going to support $600 billion. So right now, this is incredible news. This means stimulus should be coming, barring any catastrophic just failure by Congress. We should see something before the end of this year. If we see this package pass by December 18th, Steve Mnuchin has stated that he can have the Treasury issue stimulus checks as soon as 7 to 10 days later. If this happens, we could see a stimulus check on Christmas Day. That is good news. So, just wanted to share this information with you guys. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Hopefully this brightens up your day a little bit more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.